Hey, activism family, welcome back to another episode. I'm Amira, and today's guest is Selwyn Jones. He is the uncle of George Floyd. The reason why Rhea and I even started this episode or started this podcast was because of how we were both impacted by watching George Floyd be murdered on national television. And it is my honor and privilege to introduce this episode to you today.
Hello, Rise and Shine.
Hello, Rise and Shine. How you
What's
doing?
up, soul sister?
What's up?
Oh, girlfriend, let me tell you something. I had my personal assistant. She's fired now. God bless her soul. I had 3 webinars at 12 o'clock.
Oh.
Had 3 of them at 12 o'clock.
I'm sorry. I thought, aren't you one person?
Yeah. Oh, sweetie, it's been bad on me, man. It's been bad. Everybody wants something. Everybody want to say something silly to me, especially after 2 weeks ago on Wednesday. Everybody got something to say. I had a friend, probably been knowing her about 15 years.
Are you okay that we're recording right now?
Get it.
Okay. I just want to make sure. And I want to formally introduce you to Rhea. Rhea, please meet.
Rhea, hey.
How you doing?
I am Selwyn Jones. I am the uncle of the late George Floyd. Hold on, Rhea. Rhea. Let me show you something, girlfriend. Damn, look at that. Damn. Now, imagine this. A crazy dude that grew up in rural North Carolina in a tobacco field is Man of the Year in GQ magazine because somebody killed his nephew. Bam.
I can't imagine like that being the reason to be.
Dear, you know what? I believe that things happen for purpose, and I reckon in my mind, my nephew was supposed to be a professional basketball player, and he didn't reach his goals. He didn't take advantage of the talent that the Lord gave him. And yet nobody's perfect. You know, he's been in trouble a couple times. And I reckon the Lord got tired of seeing him underachieve. And you can lie to a lot of people. You can't lie to yourself. And whenever the Stephen Jacksons or the people that he went to high school with that he was better than come home on the off season from playing professional basketball where he should have been, it eats at a man's soul. So I call those demons. And he tried to suppress them for a long time, you know. And life is all about decisions, whether you make the right one or the wrong one, but it's about decisions. And you know, and I reckon the Lord felt like that particular day, all the quasars lined up, and he did 2 things. He used my nephew for a sacrificial lamb, and number 2, he showed the world, the planet, how hatred, racism, power, and control works. Because Derek Chauvin sure went to work, and he showed us all of the things that Black people have been seeing and feeling our whole life. And that came out. Then 2 Wednesdays ago happened, and you just want to believe that we have a fair shake at this. You want to believe it, you know? And if you can't see that there's 2 different set of laws for Black people and white people and indigenous people, Asians, Espanol, you're crazy. Because and I forgot one more group of people, women. Do you think y'all get treated the way y'all supposed to get treated? Because of, the boss, the boss can go and buy a $5,000 or $10,000 gun and come home and say, look at my gun. Excuse me. You come home and buy you a purse and a $500-$600 purse, and you go home and says, hey, look at my purse, honey. How much did it cost? $500-$600. We don't need a $500 or $600 purse. That's power and control still. So It's something that we've been living with forever. And think about this: Black people are the only people that have had to negotiate our life. Hell, we couldn't even go inside a restaurant 55 years ago. And sometimes now, when you go down south, you're not allowed to go in a restaurant because you know that you don't want to deal with the situation that's going to be coming before you.
Right, right. I have to go back a little bit and just let folks know how I even found you or how we even know each other. A few weeks ago, you dropped in my inbox and said, "Hey, I'm George Floyd's uncle. I like your profile or your profile comment or something like that." And then I reached out, to Rhea and said, "Can you help me stalk this guy so we can see if he's real?"
You play me. You play me. You play me. I'm tired of people playing me. I need, I need warriors to help me get my point across. And I have 3 cell phones. I have a publicist. I have, you named it. I've got like 25 people in this little chain we got going. And I will have somebody that says, "Yo, man, you need to, you need to look up in a certain geographic place. You need to look at this young lady because she's doing some powerful things. She ain't scared. Or you need to check this person out. She got some power. Your name come up in my inbox. I need to holler at you."
Really?
Yes. Yeah. So guess what that means? You're
That
doing
does not
something good.
surprise me.
You're doing
Amira is
something good
amazing.
there. What?
I'm shocked right now. I didn't know that.
It can be no longer. Wait, what time is it here? So we got 20 minutes. No, yeah. Anyhow, go get it. But yeah, so the only time I call you, or the only time I text you is when I think you're something. When I think that you are holding your own, when you're busting your butt, which you are, sister. Now, I got to get this. I hate how y'all treat me. I know it's a shock that George Floyd's uncle texts you and said, "Hey, girlfriend, hit me back." And you know what she did, Rhea? You know what she did, Rhea? I'll, I'll, I'm busy this week. I'll hit you back next week. And and I'm like, dude, who in the world is this girl think she's dealing with? But I'm used to it now because most of the time I had my one of my little media girls call me a liar. I was like, "Hey man, because my lawyer from LA told me I need to hit this young lady up in Vegas. She's the producer of the Vegas Divas." So I hit her up. I was like, "Hey girlfriend, we need to talk because I need some media consultant." And she's like, "Who are you?" Like, "I told y'all George Floyd." She's like, "You're a liar. I'm gonna call Facebook and tell Facebook that you're impersonating somebody's uncle." I really, really.
But I
So,
have to say, I get a lot of gentlemen in my inbox.
oh,
Very
oh,
inappropriate.
oh, oh.
Be clear, I'm happily married, taken. So those,
Leah, you hear, Leah? I get a lot of men in my inbox. I am, baby,
that's not how I meant it.
Joey.
Well, I know for us, like, we've both seen some really shady things happen. We want to make sure that, like, there wasn't somebody who was trying to capitalize off of, and it was like, ooh, this guy's really cool. Like, and then when we looked up your name, there's also a quarterback that also has the same name. I was like, is he a quarterback too? That's so cool. And then it's like, nah, I think it's a
There's a cornerback. There's a cornerback. They used to have that name. I know him pretty
Yeah.
good. Yeah, yeah.
Do you know him?
Yeah.
That's so
Anyhow,
cool.
you know what?
Look at the little eyes behind you.
Oh, that's my man's.
Hi.
Take your mask off. Now, this is that 5-year-old that the 55-year-old had. Kobe, come here. Let me see.
You're 54 again.
I'll be 55 in a couple days.
Oh, what
Ain't
day
that
is your
pretty?
birthday?
The 22nd of May. I'll
We
be expecting a present from you calling me a fib too. Don't tell me.
I never
She gonna
said
tell me. No, she gonna tell me. I'll
Okay,
hit you up next week.
It was only because I was right in the middle of a meeting. It wasn't because I was putting you off. I swear. I swear.
I see your eyes. I see the horns coming on your head.
I swear.
But now, dude, you know what? I am proud to say that whenever people do their due diligence and reach out and look and they go like, wow, hey man, what's going on? How can we help? Because the only way we're going to get this change made is communicating with rebels and outlaws like you, because let me tell you something. I don't know how in the hell you do it, soul sister. How in the hell can you be in a place where there's 4.5 million people in your state? And out of that 4.5 million, there's probably 1,000 that look like you.
Mhm.
That's crazy. Y'all crazy in Oregon. I went to Oregon. What's my boy name? Oh God, Devin Boss. He works for the Red City, some crap. Anyhow, but I went out there doing the fires,
Mhm.
and y'all crazy, cause y'all young people y'all at it.
That's not me though.
I know, but these young kids are at it. Baby, why in the hell would you want to incite somebody that's got a gun? I'm not trying to piss nobody off that got no gun, you know, and getting hit with rubber bullets. They ain't it to win it, man. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes I wonder, do they know what they're fighting for? Or they're fighting just to fight? Or are they fighting for a purpose or reason? You know? Because, why is there 15 different groups in one town?
Mommy, I got a real record player in this baby.
Ain't we trying to get all this and be together, and be as one? So that's hard.
Yeah. So can I ask you this? Where were you when you found out about George?
I was. Now, how do you pronounce your name again? Amaria?
Amira.
Amira. Okay, I'm gonna say A.
That's fine.
I was sitting where I normally sit at 7:30 in the morning. I was sitting in my favorite chair, and I was about to have me 2 croissants. Yeah, croissants is what I was about to have me. And I look at it, and I'm looking at the television. My mom-in-law standing in the door, and my wife is looking at me like they lost their best friend, And I'm thinking, okay. Then I focus my eyes on the television, and I'm thinking, oh my God, these people are gonna kill this dude. Why don't somebody stop him? And my sister calls me, and hey, did you see what the police? And I hung the phone up, and my wife tried to convince me that it wasn't him. Help me, I can't breathe. And I sit there like, that's Perry. And she's like, no, it isn't. Don't sound like him. And well, so I got an opportunity to sit in my favorite chair. Stop. I got an opportunity to sit in my favorite chair and watch one of my favorite people get murdered right before my very eyes. Uh, when he narrated his own death because he basically said, hey, he said, don't kill me. He's like, Mama, they're going to kill me. And when he called my sister, I have reason to believe that she had his hands down saying, come to me, son, because she knew that he won't coming back. Imagine being in a situation that there ain't nothing you can do but take it and wait to die. And wait to die. And that's what basically he did. David Chauvin violated him in every way possible. And it was all because of the color of his skin. Because David Chauvin was having a bad day and he wanted to uh, make my nephew have a bad day. And like I said, you got devil, you got angel. My nephew wasn't an angel. So I don't ever get into it. He was a human. But the way he died, that's the most significant death that we have seen ever. Ever. Martin Luther King's movement wasn't this big. So we have an opportunity. We reached the whole world is what we did. We had people in Bangladesh over there moving around. You know, I've talked to people all over the world, and he made a change. He made a difference because nobody's ever seen this particular situation happen like that before. So, you know, you got to give us that. But once again, I know I'm kicking a dead horse to death. But last Wednesday, 2 Wednesdays ago, was probably the most horrific thing I've ever seen in my life. To have people just knowingly act just like it wasn't a big deal. Like, hey, it's one of those things where David Chauvin wouldn't have done what he did if he had one thought that somebody he was gonna get in trouble for that. He would have never did it.
Right.
You know, and he acted like nobody's gonna do anything to me.
Mhm.
Just like he was at Sunday at the park killing a black dude.
Yeah.
You know, and those people that were walking through the Capitol building, sweetie, they were taking pictures with the damn officers. And I don't know what dynamic we put this in, but the dynamic that I put it in is mass chaos. Don't you know? Hey, if it was me and you, your husband, and I know he's a Caucasian fella, my wife, which is a Caucasian girl, and 30 or 40 of us, don't you know we'd have all been in the damn back of a truck somewhere?
Right.
We would have all been in the back of a truck, and the whole time I kept watching. Damn, when the bullets gonna start? When they're gonna start putting that gas on them? And you just sit there and you waited, and it got to the point after nothing happened, you went from waiting to damn son of. And once again, it hits you right in the face to realize we got brought to a place where nobody gives up about us. We got to negotiate for our life. The only thing we're asking is you treat us like you treat them.
Mhm.
You don't shoot them, don't shoot us.
Mhm.
You know? And that's too much to ask.
Yeah.
That's literally too much to ask because we're black, sweetie.
Mhm.
It is. You know, if somebody turns their back, now you look like you might have a little scrap in you, bam, bam, bam. Now, when you used to whoop them little girls in grade school, they took off running from you. Once they took off running, what did they tell you? They don't want no more. They leaving the scene. Well, if you've noticed, a lot of our brothers that get killed, they get shot in the back while they're leaving the scene. Yeah, granted, if your dumb ass is in a Arby's drive-through passed out, you need to go to jail. You don't need to die. You don't need to die. You know, it's just decision making process. Everybody seems like they're making bad decisions that affect a lot of us. You know, Blake didn't deserve to get shot in the back 7 times in front of his babies. But I can see if I'm a police officer, I want to go home to mine. I want to go home to mine, but I also want you to go home to yours. You know, so yeah, and I sat there and I watched that, and ever since then, I've been different
Mhm.
because why should you be singled out as a pretty black girl? Why can't you just be a pretty girl?
Right. Mhm.
You know, and that's what it has to come to. Because I got a little princess, I got a little man back here, and I want them to be known as, hey, look at those pretty little kids. I don't want them to be singled out because they're black.
Mhm.
You know, come on, it's been going on our whole life, sweetie.
Yeah.
And the last 4 years, we've been set back three or 400 years. The last 2 weeks, we've been set back 2 or 300 years because people that were on that line in the middle, they either went to one side or the other,
Mhm.
you know, and they went hardcore to that side. Just think about this. And I know I keep saying the same thing, rhetorical question. Just think about this.
Mhm.
One of the top 10 secured places in the whole world. And you can walk in there just like it's nothing. Just like it don't matter who's gonna do anything to me. I'm white. Ain't nobody gonna do anything to me. Sweetie, let me catch somebody climbing up the side of my house. Let me catch somebody busting my windows. I'm probably gonna act a little ill. We saw this. We seen fools climbing, and they call us monkeys. Hell, I ain't never seen no man climb the side of the building like that.
Right. Yeah.
And Black Lives Matters March in July, June or July,
Hmm.
there was 468 people arrested in 2 hours.
Wow.
I looked at television this morning. There's only 80 arrested. And what, 4 got arrested that night? Think about that. If that would have been people with tans, we'd have all been in the back of a paddy wagon. We would have all been in the back of an 18-wheeler. Let me go to the Capitol building and climb up the outside. Oh my God.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah.
we got to irritate, agitate, communicate. We got to have a conversation, and we got to educate. Yeah. And
Is that your slogan? That is a
pretty
good.
much,
That is a
pretty
slogan. That
much,
is a good slogan, and we need to.
uh, because we just know that it seems like sometimes you got to shake that fire up and get it burning good.
Hmm.
You know. And I'm country as head, girl. I'm telling you right now. Two types of people: people that can't read, or people don't that don't want to read. Now that's what we're seeing, because a lot of people see, but they don't want to do anything about it, because you see how racism works, affects everybody. You know that you treat people different because of the color of their skin, but you don't want to see it because that's the world you've been living in.
Hmm.
So, I'm just telling you, hey, we got to figure out how we can all get together.
Hmm.
See, we're going to start doing a series of like little festivals. We'll be affiliated with a church or something. And, we'll call, hey, I'm going to be in your city. Hey, you talk to a church, I want you to figure out a place where we can all get together, have us a little band, give out some hot dogs, we'll pay for hot dogs and stuff,
Hmm.
and just have people sit around and communicate. If they did that in 1969, why can't we do it now?
Right.
And but then you think there ain't no empathy anymore. There ain't no respect. Because young cats now, they would prefer to shoot you than to do like than communicate with you. So
Yeah.
it is not the world, my dear. It's the people in the world. The grass is still green. The sky is still blue. It was that way 54 years ago, and it's still that day. We don't see much grass right now because it's a little cold right here where I am.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, dear. So
Yeah.
we as leaders, and we as people that have a following that we can influence people, have got to influence people for change, Mama.
Yeah.
Because if we don't, that ain't gonna happen.
Yeah.
Because you think some of those people that was climbing up the side of the building last week gonna think about this? Climbing upside the damn president's house, and then you make a commercial the next day. You're on the radio station talking. We're a patriot. First of all, if that would have been me, my whole damn family would have been arrested. Little Nick, little Doo Doo, little Chucky. You know what I'm saying? All of them. Black people, we make up names,
I know.
girlfriend. Anyhow,
Trying not to bust
you
out.
know, but yeah, and we would have all been caught.
Wow.
And just to see people that are making commercials, doing interviews,
Right.
that you infiltrated one of the top 10 secure places in the world.
Wow.
I don't know.
Hey, I wanna Rhea, ask you a couple questions. That's
Go
okay.
ahead.
Wrap up.
Yeah. So one of the things that came up with, George Floyd's murder was the comparison to what happened with Rodney King and the differences and the contrasts of, because when Rodney King was beaten, there was a widespread response. There was an outcry, but there's also some key differences. And when you were talking, I was also reminded that, when Rodney King was beaten and it was caught on filmed, which was just people never expected to see that caught on film. Those officers did not know they were being filmed,
That's
whereas
what
Derek
they,
knew.
They whooped Rodney King's ass. That ass whooping was worth $12-15 million. Rodney King was combative. Rodney King was high off PCP. My nephew, I don't think he argued whatsoever. All he wanted to do was lay on the ground. He did exactly what he was supposed to do when he was told to do it. And he still got murdered. So, that Rodney King, it sparked up violence in LA, because, the blood, the Crips, whatever they got going out there. But just total different scenario. You know,
Yeah,
somebody
absolutely.
tried to give me put it on the same scenario. You remember the little kid that the black dude killed in North Carolina? Come out of it, the little boy was riding a bicycle,
Mhm.
and a black dude come outside and shot him in the head, killed him. 5 years old, 6 years old, and people tried. This was in when was that, Joey? June, July, August, and people tried to connect those two together, and it was so horrific because that was bad for that little baby. He didn't even have a life. He didn't even have a chance. And this dude that was on drugs walks out of his house, put one in his head, you know, and he goes back in his house. And when the police knocked on the door, because in North Carolina, I'm sure they wanted him to come out being all wild so they could kill him. But they knocked on his house and he came out. He came out. And I know that he's going to go to the electric chair. It took 6 days. 350 million people watched my nephew die. You know how much money councils have made from that? Because nobody's never seen a human being die. And you literally seen him from the look in his eyes, the most scariest situation I've ever seen. Just imagine that when he first got out of that car and he looked back, did he ever imagine he would die? He'd get murdered? And 8 minutes and 46 seconds is what it took. It was what it did to take 45 years off this planet because of power, control, and hatred, my dear. And it's just unconceivable. You cannot match this up with anything, dear, because the way he died showed everybody just blatantly, this is what racism does. We put you in a situation where there's nothing you can do, and all you can do is wait. And that's pretty much what he did. He waited to die. When he, after about 2 or 3 minutes, he knew it. I knew it. Everybody knew it. After you got over the shock of seeing this dude do this, and you watched him put his hand in his pocket, and you watched him rotate that knee on his esophagus, you're sitting thinking, imagine how many televisions were busted that day. Imagine how many people were in total shock. Just sit there. And my nephew was 6'7", 245 pounds, a man. And you made a man into a corpse, a big piece of meat that, just totally made him out of absolute nothing. And then they get there and they throw him on the gurney because they knew he was already dead. You know?
Yeah.
So 140. So,
Yeah.
dear,
Yes,
it's
I
something
think
that
it's
will
so
never.
much worse what happened to George.
It's something that we'll never ever get out of our brains, and I'll never get it out of my system. I'll never let you get it out of yours, because as long as I have an opportunity to talk and chat, and communicate with people that didn't think I was real. Let me pinch myself. Oh, I'm talking about you two. Anyhow.
Well, one of the other things we wanted to talk about is what has been done and what you've been working on since George Floyd was murdered, because I believe there's a lot of stuff that's been happening.
Sweetie, I have been nonstop. I've been nonstop trying to make a change. I'm not a preacher. I'm not a prophet. I'm just an uncle that loved his nephew and a black man of 54 years that got that sick and tired of being sick and tired. Just simple. That's all I am. We're speaking around colleges. Uh, we're talking to corporate entities. We're doing whatever we can so people can hear my scraggly voice. Because if you hear my voice, that means you listen a little bit. Justice for George 846 all day, every day. Instagram, Twitter. Hit me up or Justice for George 846.com. Or Selwyn Jones. So I don't mind talking if y'all can't tell.
Yep, that's right.
You
And
know,
I told you about our event that we're planning here in Salem, Oregon, and white supremacy. And I asked if you'd be a voice in that, do a video
I
clip
would, I
thing.
would, I would,
So,
I would. I'll be glad. Now I'm telling you, I ain't coming down there.
okay, you don't have to. You
Now,
don't have to come down.
no, I've got to come down because Gabrielle Colton,
Mhm.
which is a photographer, she's doing some. She's on the team too, so I need to go down there and get some pictures. And we're gonna do a skit. And the skit is you've got police pull you over, and we'll have 4 or 5 people like the police pulled them over, like your hands are on the wall, and we'll finish it off with a black police officer with my knee on somebody's neck. Whoa,
Wow.
that
Yeah.
would be. I think that would be very impactful. That should take your breath away to see the uncle of George Floyd kneeling on somebody's neck, looking up in the sky, and we'll have a voiceover saying, "Why did this have to be like this?"
Wow. And what town are you doing that in your hometown?
No, I'm doing it in your place.
You're doing that in Oregon?
Yeah. Oh, where she live at? She lives by the beach.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'll stay in contact. Maybe you can come out there and be an extra.
I,
You know?
I I would love just to even just come say hello to you. So
Yeah.
yeah, please let me
You
know.
know? Because like I said, dear, we're gonna fight. We're gonna fight. We're in a dog fight, and we're fighting for freedom. We're fighting for equality. We're fighting for justice. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I'm fighting for people not to call me a lie too. I'm fighting hard.
I
I ain't
never
never gonna. I ain't never gonna let you live that.
I
No,
never said
I
you
will.
were a liar. I never said that. I
It's
just said I had
funny.
to check you out. I had to check you out, make sure you was real. That's all.
Okay, girlfriend.
I
Okay.
I appreciate you so much.
Dear, I appreciate you, your individuality. I love it. Rhea.
Rhea.
Rhea, hey
Yes.
baby, hey girlfriend, how you doing?
Okay,
I'm
you know.
I'm not gonna leave out my left militant sister. Hey, uh, we have to figure out how we honestly can do this and get people together and have a festival or something,
Well,
And
you're
honest,
on to that. It's the mutual aid and the community building. Like that's what scared the, government when, the Black Panthers were doing their shit. It was the mutual aid that really terrified them. And I think you're incredible and I'm just so excited to see what happens with the work you're doing.
well, dear, something's got to happen. All I know is this: make sure you have my email. Uh, I know this. I won't have no dreams. I will not have a dream because the last brother had a dream, had a bad day. I'm on the journey to complete, and I've got my hands full, but I just think I got big hands. Got big hands. I just honestly think that given the opportunity to communicate with the masses, it works out good. It just works out good. So y'all got to tag me on stuff, because I know Miss A got like 5 million people on her friends list, Instagram, and Yeah, she's a star, baby. I'm a star. You might not know it now.
Not true. When
But
I
you know,
if I ever become one, I'll own it, but I'm definitely not.
well, all right, sweetie, you know what? I want to own one thing. I want to own until the day I die. He made a change. He made a difference. And you know, you figure 100 years from now, when we're looking at when history comes out, it's going to be George Floyd changed the world, and then it's going to be his uncle sure had his back.
Yep.
That's what you're supposed to do to your folks.
Yep.
That's what you're supposed to do to your folks. So, girls, I will do this again. I will text you now. Hey, Leah, send me. Like I said, give her my email, and we ain't gonna have no problems no more, all right?
Nope.
When I say, hey, this is your boy, you be like, what up, Selwyn? You know, that's what I want. That's
That's
what I
right.
want. That's what I gotta have.
I got
My
you.
girls, love you, girlies. I'll talk to you
Bye.
soon. Bye
Thank
bye.
you.
Bye,
Thank you so
Leah.
much.
Bye, baby girl. I am Cray Cray.
It's okay. We love it.
So during the episode, we did not really get an opportunity to really discuss this really important act. It is the Justice in Policing Act of 2020, and it is something that someone wants to spread worldwide so that people are aware about this. So this was introduced in the House June 8th of 2020. This bill addresses a wide range of policies and issues regarding policing practices and law enforcement accountability. It includes measures to increase accountability for law enforcement misconduct, to enhance transparency and data collection, and to eliminate discriminatory policing practices. The bill facilitates federal enforcement of constitutional violations, excessive use of force by state and local law enforcement. Among other things, it does the following: lowers the criminal and intent standard from willful to knowing or reckless to convict a law enforcement officer for misconduct in a federal prosecution, limits qualified immunity as a defense to liability in a private civil action against a law enforcement officer or state correctional officer, and authorizes the Department of Justice to issue subpoenas in investigations of police departments for a pattern or practice of discrimination. The bill also creates a national registry, the National Police Misconduct Registry, to compile data on complaints and records of police misconduct. It establishes a framework to prohibit racial profiling at a federal, state, and local level. The bill establishes new requirements for law enforcement officers and agencies, including to report data on use of force incidences, to obtain training on implicit bias and racial profiling, and to wear body cameras.
Hey friends! I just wanted to come on and remind you about our Patreon. A Patreon is a way that you can support us monthly with ongoing donations that help us either cover the podcast or go to fund our ministry and the work that we do daily out in the community. Sometimes that's actually physically out there, other times that's putting content out there, being in communication and working with and finding solutions for our community. So if that's something that you can help us out with, definitely check out the show notes for links to the Patreon. Plus, there'll be some other ways that you can do like one-time donations or just directly like Cash App, Venmo, that kind of stuff if you want to help make a donation and help make this thing possible. In the conversation with Selwyn, we talked a little bit about the differences between George Floyd and Rodney King's beating. And while there's really no direct comparison between the two cases, I do think that Rodney King's beating was a very significant cultural moment in our history that was pretty recent. And I think it's a really important one that even if you know about it, but you haven't thought about it in a while or haven't gone to refresh yourself on the details, I think it's an important one to go back and take a look at and familiarize yourself with. And then just remember, like, this has been happening for a long, long time, and police officers getting away with things has been happening for a long, long time. What has not been happening for a long, long time is video evidence. And I think that's one of the things that Rodney King's beating really emphasizes is all of a sudden we had this heinous violence on tape. Not that it had never been taped before, but it really hit in a significant way. And so a really good recommendation, I would say, is LA 92, which is a documentary. So definitely go check that out.
So I wanted to do a little bit of a backstory on this meditation. So before this happened, I was of the mindset that I don't need to watch the news. It's heartbreaking. If there's nothing I can do about it, why bother? It's negative. I'm a mindfulness coach. I'm supposed to stay in my present moment mind and be chill, Well, I heard about this horrific thing happening, and I heard about it for a few days, and I finally was like, okay, I'm going to watch this. And when I watched it, I came in my office, I cried, and I just felt like I had to do something. I felt like I needed to do something. And so I just pushed play, and I just started to breathe and talk. And even today, we looked back at the video, Rhea and I. It's really hard to watch. It's emotional. I haven't been the same person since. I will never be able to unsee watching George Floyd be murdered on national TV with a white man staring at a camera, calm as a cucumber, while a black man was begging for his breath. I will never get that image out of my mind. And I will spread awareness about white supremacy and systemic racism until the day that I die. Because I was unaware at 42 years old. Our world was built on a system where we did not matter. We didn't matter. And I never knew that or understood that because I've been privileged in my life to never know what it's like to want or need anything. And when I watched a man be murdered like that, I saw for the first time what being black meant. So this meditation is what I came up with. So here it is.
Thank you so much for joining us today. If you have time and the space to do so, I really encourage you to go and watch that meditation that Amira did for George Floyd after he was murdered. It is a beautiful and very painful thing to watch, but it is holy and it is sacred, and it's the stuff that changes the world, right? Like being willing to put ourselves out there and be vulnerable and courageous and strong and speak our truth while allowing other people to see the pain that they are not often able to is incredibly powerful. So I really encourage you to take the time to watch it if you can. And if not, either way, we will see you next time. Stay dangerous and love well.